Welcome, everybody, to Catfish Weekly, presented by Whiskerware Apparel, along with Chuck Davison and Doc Lang. I'm Lyle Stokes, and we got a good one tonight. We're going to have Jody Harrison come in with us here in just a minute. We're going to talk about oxygen and live wells and how we do weigh-ins and stuff and how to take care of our fish that we're weighing in and all kinds of stuff. It's going to be an awesome show, but we got a couple of things to go over first. Doc, how's it going tonight?
It's going great here in the Buckeye State. My Buckeyes won this past weekend. I didn't think they were going to, but they did win. And I was out on the Ohio River on Saturday and caught a few fish. So good weekend
Awesome.
for me.
Heck yeah, man! Your team wins. You get to catch some fish. All's good in Ohioville.
Yeah, nothing big. 15-pound blue was the biggest that we could conjure up. I've been trying for a month to put Daniel on a flathead. He has never caught a flathead. He's been fishing with me for over almost 2 years, and he's never caught a flathead. And he's watched me catch 3 45-pounders. So he's having a fit right now. So I'm trying to get him on a flathead. So
He's good.
Fall's the time to do it.
Yeah, it's a great time right now, waiting on these fish to feed up for winter and then flatheads. What do you got over in your area? About a month or so, or maybe 2 months before they go dormant?
Yeah, about a month or two. It all depends on the water temperature. Water temperature is still at 72 degrees, so
they usually might have quite a while then.
Yeah, they usually start backing off at about 55, maybe a little bit cooler.
Right. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you guys get out and go catch some fish and get everything done. I'm still trying to get caught up from being gone that week. It just when you're gone, things just get behind, and it just takes a while to get them all done back up. But it is what it is. Chuck Davison, how's it going down in Alabama?
Oh, man, roll tide. We kicked butt Saturday night, man. I mean, 10 rolled over. That's all.
So when does the Buckeyes play the Roll Tides?
Probably in the championship.
Oh. Man, we'll have a heck of a show that night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If they get together, it's a good game.
Yeah, it'll be a good game.
It will. What's going on over in your world, Chuck?
Not a whole lot, man. Just work and sleep, trying to get some time to get out on the water. But we've got something going on in the catfish community that I want to make everybody aware of. Springs and his family from Chester, South Carolina, they need our prayers. After being in remission from a former bout with cancer that he fought hard, they've now found some in Terrence's liver. He was in surgery today, and I hadn't heard any news from that. But if everyone to get on your Facebook page and just blow his Facebook page up, and tell him that, he's on our minds and everything, I know he would love that. So look Tarek Springs up on Facebook and tell him to get well. Needing him out of the water. We got to take his money.
That's So, he's
the more.
Terrence is a really, really fine guy. He's at Winter Blues. He goes to Monsters on the Ohio just about every year, and I know he wasn't there this year, and that may have something to do with it. But he's the same man every time you see him. He can't wait to shake your hand and visit with you and talk about catfishing and whatever else. And there's not a better guy in the world to be around. And anybody that would do that, just jump on there and wish him well wishes and say a little prayer for him, because we need Terrence back out here seeing us all at these tournaments and things, because he's a great guy, and we need to keep those guys coming to these tournaments and stuff to make the sport survive.
Oh yeah, man, I hadn't met a nicer guy since I've been fishing. Me and Leanne met him at our first tournament at Monsters de Ohio, pre-fish, and he was one of the first people we met down there. And it was, Jeffrey Smith, his buddy. Jeffrey. He's all tore up on this because they've been friends for a long time. And You know, that's his buddy, so this is really hitting him hard too. But you
Well,
know,
they
me and
fish
Leanne,
together a lot.
yes, a lot. And you know, Jeffrey and Terrence was the first person me and Leanne met down there a couple of years ago, and we sat there and talked to him for about 2 hours before we even got boats in the water. But yeah, man, we need to get you well, Terrence. I hope you're watching right now. If you are, that means everything's going really good. So get back on the water, man. We need you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great guy, great guy. We need to make sure everybody sends old Terrence a message because I miss him. I missed him at Monsters this year. You know, you're looking around, and I remembered he told me he wasn't coming, but he sends me a message on Facebook every once in a while just to talk and shoot the bull. And you know, if you ever get a chance where you're in a tournament, you're locking through at a dam, you want to tie up next to old Terrence. And I mean, he's a hoot. He's just a lot of fun to be around, and we sure want him to get well and get back on with things.
You know, he made the Mississippi River Monster Tournament, though. You know, they were there at that.
He did.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember seeing there.
Yeah, they. I mean, right. I mean, weigh-in wasn't even all the way over yet, I don't think, and they were on the road heading back.
Yeah.
So they didn't hang around too long. So, yeah, he was there. So he made that. It was a pretty long voyage for him from South Carolina.
Absolutely, because he's way out there. Way out there. Well, fellas, we got Jody Harrison on with us tonight, and we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. Jody, how's it going?
It's going good. Going good. Just glad to be here.
Heck yeah, man. You have really made an impression on me and the whole catfishing industry with the stuff that you got going on with Fish Life. And personally, I want to thank you for all the stuff that you're doing. I mean, I know that you're not doing the oxygen systems at this present time, but that was an outstanding product that you had going, as is all the chemical stuff that you have to help the fish with bleeding and keep the scales packed on bait and different things. And man, it's just an awesome deal, all the stuff you got going on right now. And even as far as doing the tournaments. But, you know, before I turn you over to these guys, I'm going to tell you something. And you and I talked earlier today, but this tool that you got that measures oxygen in live wells, and you've already told me the story, but that is an impressive thing to where if you've got fish in a live well and you're on the line of whether you need to put oxygen to them or not, you can stick that in there and test the oxygen levels of that thing. Somebody, and it might as well be you, needs to invent one of them affordable enough for the average guy to keep in his boat, and we probably wouldn't hardly ever lose a fish.
Well, I tell you, anybody that's running oxygen, they definitely need it. It's called a dissolved oxygen meter. You know, a lot of people just call it DO meter for short. But, you know, them things, you know, brand new, you're looking, you know, $500,000, $700,000 a piece. But you can get on eBay and get them things very affordable. I got two of them myself. I bought both of them on eBay, and I think I got them for about $100 a piece. And, you know, I got in touch with the people, with the manufacturers of the meters, and I had to buy some little parts for it or something. You know, information is knowledge. I mean, you know, if you, the more information you can get, the better off you are. And if you're running oxygen, and get you a dissolved oxygen meter, get you a DO meter to where you know what's going on inside that live well. And a dissolved oxygen meter and a thermometer. Little cheap pool thermometers that just float around in the water.
Right.
Get you one of them. And, you know, we tell everybody that ideal water temperature is 5 to 7 degrees below lake water temperature or river water temperature. You know,
surface.
Yeah, surface temperature is what it is. You know, because a lot of times, you know, the fish are coming up, you know, from a lot deeper water than what you're getting on the surface. So, you know, if you can try to kind of match that water that they're coming from, it'll make that live well just so much more healthy.
Now Jody, I got a little question for you about that. Do you see a time in our near future where live wells will come out with an oxygen meter and a temperature meter built into the live well, so where you can just look down and see this stuff like you would an engine light? Definitely
thermometer, because you know that you know, that's real simple technology there.
Exactly.
Definitely thermometer. I don't see that being an issue at all. Oxygen meters. I don't know. It'd have to take somebody some doing to do that. There's just so much more technology behind it.
Right.
But
well, it's sure an impressive tool.
They are. It really is, and you can learn a lot about it. I mean, that's what the amazing part of it is that you just learn so much by using that meter and knowing what's going on inside that light bulb.
Right. Right. Well, if you're like me, you got the lid open all the time, making sure them babies are okay when you got them in there.
That's right.
My fish and me become very personal when they hit that live well, because I sure don't want to ever lose them.
Yeah, but that's another thing is that a lot of people don't know is opening and closing that live well does a world of good too. Because if you leave that live well shut, the carbon dioxide, you got the surface of the water, then the top of the live well lid, where you got that dead space in there. That dead space will build up with carbon dioxide, it'll build up with ammonia gas, it'll build up with heat. And a lot of times your aerator's running, that little old dead space right there is the only place it's got to pick up air. So if that air is stale and it's just full of carbon dioxide and full of ammonia gas, all it's doing is putting it right back in the water. So you need to be opening that lid and releasing those gases and all, and releasing that heat and letting fresh air back in there.
Well, that's one thing my fish gets plenty of opening up, because if they're of any size, I'm going to make sure they get what they need if I can give it to them.
Yep.
Well, listen. I'm going to let Chuck ask you some questions. I know I can see it. A look in his eyes. He's got a list of stuff he wants to go over with you, then we'll turn you over to Doc and let Doc go through some stuff. So I can see Chuck. He just can't wait. So
he's got that itchy look in his eyes.
Yeah, he does. He does. There you go, Chuck.
How you doing, Chuck?
Good, man. At the Mississippi River Monster Tournament, they had, I think that was the lady from Bass Pro Shop taking the samples of everybody's live well.
Yeah. She was had a lady there from Bass Pro Shops, and then also we had Daniel there, Daniel Parsons. I think he was going around too and helping out with the portable oxygen systems, trying to help put oxygen in the ones in live wells that didn't have it.
But was she collecting data for anything when she was doing this?
Yeah, she was documenting everything. As a matter of fact, I've been intending on getting back with her and kind of seeing, what kind of information they built from that. But yeah, she was definitely collecting information along the way.
I wonder if that was something that George Young Jr. and Bill Dance had her doing, so they can have a better, more successful release in the future.
Actually, I think it was Bass Pro that was doing it.
Bass Pro was doing it?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know that to be for sure, but I believe it was Bass Pro doing it.
That's pretty interesting. I've never seen that study going on before, and that was really sharp, them doing that, and it made everybody more aware of how important that that oxygen level is in that water, especially these long weigh-in lines that we get in, and these trailering events where sometimes we're driving 30 minutes back, then sitting another hour in the weigh-in line, maybe longer.
Right.
Long time for those fish to be in that water without fresh water circulating.
Right. Yeah, as long as you're putting some oxygen back in the water, it helps out a lot. You're sitting there in those weigh-in lines. But you're right. The good thing about it is with her walking around, she was able to tell the anglers at that point, your oxygen levels are 30% or your oxygen levels is 100%. And I was talking to somebody, and they said that one of them was like almost 200%. They're really just pouring a lot of oxygen to it. And so that, that kind of goes back to if you're running oxygen and you can get you a dissolved oxygen meter, then you know what's going on there.
Right.
But yeah, she was documenting everything, and we definitely need to find out where that information went and what it was used for. But I'll tell you though, I was really impressed with Bass Pro with what they were doing, and also the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency that was there helping us getting the fish back to the water. I mean, them guys were phenomenal. I mean, we have never had that kind of help from a state agency like we did then. And, those guys were just great to work with. And, and before the weigh-in, we really had a lot of time to sit and talk to those guys. And, they were really impressed with what we were doing, and we were really impressed with what they were doing. And, so it benefited everybody, being able to work together like that.
Yeah, I was really glad to see that, getting into catfishing like that. I'd like to see, every tournament be that take care of the fish that well, have the right equipment to get them back in. Can you tell us about your live well treatments and how that helps? By putting that in the water.
Yeah, the live well treatments that we got. I mean, first of all, I'll kind of give you just a real brief history on it. I developed the live well treatment over the course of about 7 years. And it came from all of the tournaments that we had ran over the years. We was always working on this stuff behind the scenes. And it came about because I used everything on the market. And I just didn't feel like that we were getting the performance out of a live well treatment that we should have been getting. So, I started doing a lot of reading up on it, a lot of research. And so we started testing different mixtures and all until we finally settled on what we've got now, which, this is our live well treatment here. And it's available at Bottom Dwellers Tackle. David Ashby's carrying it in his store. And, one of the biggest things that this does is it promotes that slime coat. It promotes the growth of that slime coat on the fish, because that is the number one barrier against any kind of damage to that fish is the slime coat. And then also, if there's any kind of bleeding going on with it, it helps stop the bleeding. It treats any wounds that the fish may have. When you use our treatments, it'll form a microscopic barrier inside the live well. And that way you're not getting the direct abrasion between the fish and the sides of your live well. It actually creates a coating on it to where it makes them slide by the well so much easier. If there's any kind of chemicals in the water, it helps neutralize the chemicals. It helps neutralize ammonia. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that it neutralizes all the ammonia in the water. I don't want anybody thinking that just because they put that in there, they don't have to worry about it. But it does help neutralize ammonia. But you still need to open that lid like we talked about earlier, release the gases, and then depending on how many fish you got in that live well, you definitely need to be flushing your water, every 2, 3, 4 hours or something like that to help get rid of that fish waste. And, because the fish is no different than we are. When you get stressed out, you get nervous, your stomach can get upset. I mean, you know how you feel. You get that old sick feeling and everything else. Well, fish react the same way. And when it does, it makes them release that waste into the water. And they're going to be releasing more than normal because they're upset. They're, stressed out and everything else. So, ammonia is a very big deal. But our product does help neutralize some of that ammonia. But also, there's an additive in it that helps calm the fish. Fish jumping around, bouncing inside of a live well, they can hurt themselves. So, there is an additive in there that helps calm the fish down and, makes them relax a little bit to where they're not jumping around so much in there. And then also it adds, electrolytes to the water, basically how, you see the drinks that's advertised for us. I mean, it adds electrolytes to the water to help keep the fish healthy in that closed environment. So, it's a good product. It's something that I can say without any doubt that I know it works. Anybody that uses our products, they come back with that. They all say, I mean, Lyle can vouch for them also. Our products work.
Yep.
And it's something that, by God, I'm proud of. I'm proud to be able to offer a product that makes a difference in the conservation of fish. So,
right.
Yeah. And then we also, we offer a bait saver, which it's along the same lines. The recipe's a little bit different, but it's a bait saver to help keep shad and any other kind of live bait that you use alive. And then one of the really cool products we got is our first aid treatment. And what it's for is if you got a bleeding fish, you can pour this first aid treatment on and it'll stop the bleeding. It's a coagulant. And, I can't tell you how many fish because of that, because of the first aid treatment. And, so the three products really work well together, and I feel like it really made a difference in sport fishing in general.
Okay, if I'm out on a really hot day and I'm putting gallons a frozen milk jug of water into my live well, and I cut the plastic off and I just let that big chunk of ice float, is that enough chlorine in that chunk of city water to do any damage to a fish? 50 to 1. Would that be something you'd have to worry about?
Not really. I mean, there's been studies done on it. I believe that Bassmaster done a big study, a real big study on that, and their findings were that there wasn't enough chlorine in the water to make a difference on it.
Okay, so if you just use plain ice, throwing them in your live well to kind of cool your water off, you're not hurting anything by putting that chlorinated ice in there.
No, there's not enough chlorine in the water to really matter, especially the size live wells that you guys run. You're talking these 50, 80 gallon wells that the guys are running, and no, you're not getting enough chlorine in there to really hurt anything. Now, the one thing about it is that using milk jugs or something like that is better than using crushed ice, because that frozen chunk, that frozen block will stay in there a lot longer than the crushed ice will, and it slows it don't cool the water down so fast. And the one thing to remember though is when you got them big chunks of ice in there, when you're running down the river or something else, be aware that they're in there to make sure that the ice isn't beating fish to death.
Right.
So,
Have you studies on temperature shock when you actually putting a fish out of one temperature into another temperature? That's dramatically a big difference. Have you did studies on that?
looks like I kind of touched on earlier, the ideal temperature that you want is 5 to 7 degrees. You want to be 5 to 7 degrees below the surface water temperature, but the surface temperature of the water, because you do take the risk of shocking the fish if it's too cold.
Yeah. What happens to the fish when you shock them like that? Why is it so dangerous?
Well, I mean, it'll throw them into shock is what it'll do. Here a few years ago on the bass side of things, I believe it was Aaron Martins. He was fishing one of the big Bassmaster Classics, and he had a 5-fish limit in his well, and I believe he was in contention for the lead, and he dumped too much ice in there, and because it cooled down so fast and he put so much in there, it threw the fish in shock, killed every one of them, and he ended up losing all the fish because of it.
Great. So throwing a big temperature shock on a fish, real dramatic like that, can kill them in a heartbeat.
Yes, it can kill them. Definitely can. I mean, like you said, gallon milk jugs is a great way to do it because it's a slower drop in temperature, and then plus the ice will last longer being a solid block.
Great. You got any more products that you're thinking about coming out with here in the near future?
Well, I tell you, man, I mean, we really learned a lot at Memphis. Memphis was a great tournament for us, and gave us the opportunity to really, see some things that was needed. And, when the Owensby's brought their fish in, their big fish that they won the tournament with, it was struggling. The fish was definitely struggling, and we put it in our big tank out in the back, and the fish was wanting to roll. And we were holding on to the fish. We was trying, messing with him, but he kept rolling. And when them fish start rolling like that, a lot of times that's an indication that a swim bladder is full of air. And so I told one of my guys, I said, go up there. I said, get a handful of our flips and bring them right down here. Now, this is the fin clips that, has been real, it's worked real well, with bass and crappie that we've done in other tournaments. And what this does is, a lot of times we give fish a lot more credit than they deserve. A fish, really all it knows is it wants to eat, it wants to reproduce, and it wants to swim upright. Well, when a fish is rolled over on its back, it will literally kill itself trying to roll back over. It'll use all of its energy trying to roll back over because that's all it knows, that it's supposed to swim upright. So we'll use these fin clips, and what it does is it rights the fish upright and it pushes it down in the bottom of your live well. And this way the fish isn't struggling. The fish isn't just constantly trying to roll back over. And it gives the swim bladder a chance to deflate naturally on its own. So when their fish was in the tank, it kept exhibiting signs of being full of air. So we put him in there, like I said, this fish was 70 pounds. That was a 70-pound fish. So these little old clips that we've got, they're 1 ounce a piece. But we put 4 on each fin. And, so basically I had 4 ounces of fin clips on each one of his fins. Well, the fish, got upright. He, sunk to the bottom of the tank, and we just left him alone. The tank was treated with our products. We were pouring oxygen to the water, and we had the fin clips on it. And then by the end of the day, the fish had actually started swimming around the tank, which is what you want. When they start swimming and they're appearing to be healthy, that's when everything is working right. When the fish isn't doing real good, they'll just want to sit there. They'll want to just roll over. So anyway, that showed us that these fin clips do work very well on catfish. So once I got back here, I started messing around a little bit, and we're actually have come up with this new fin clip here. And what this is a 3 ounce weight, and we're going to market this specifically as the catfish fin clips is what we're going to do. And I've talked to David Ashby at Bottom Dwellers Tackle, and he's going to carry them. And I really believe that you guys keep these in your boats, and you'll start seeing a difference anytime you get a fish in trouble. And you put a clip on them, you leave them alone. You get back to fishing, get back to what you need to do. Because in a tournament situation, you guys have only got so long to fish, and you need to be fishing. You don't need to be sitting there constantly fooling with the fish. And that's where these fin clips work so well, is you can just clip them and leave them alone, and more often than not, it'll allow that swim bladder to deflate naturally on its own, and fish will be in good shape, and you can keep fishing, and all in all, everything turns out better.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Jody, I'm gonna pass you on to Doc. I know he's got a load of stuff to talk to you about, and I could talk to you about another 5 hours. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn you over there to Doc and let him ask you some stuff.
Well, Chuck, you local, man. You just need to ride over here one day and hang out with me. I'll put you to work. I'll put you to work down here in the basement. While you work, we can talk.
There you go. Well, here on YouTube, Trapper234 just posted, Fish Life helped us at the MRM with one of our fish that was not doing good while in the weigh-in line. Said, thanks much. I have since purchased and installed an oxygen system in my 80-gallon live well. So always nice to see somebody, posting something like that.
Yeah, it is great. I tell you, every day, I get an email or I get a Facebook message or I get a phone call from somebody and, telling us that, the products are working well. And, I can't tell you that the sense of pride that I have when people tell me that, what we're doing works.
Yeah.
And, we believe so much in the conservation of the sport that, it's just great to see it, see the stuff working. We love it. And I tell you, there's a shout out to the anglers that I've seen in the catfish world. Man, I tell you, I just give props to all of the anglers out there that goes, so far to take care of the fish. I was so impressed when I first got into the catfishing world of what all these guys are doing, man. And I tell you what, I mean, it's awesome. The guys doing a great job.
Good deal. Okay, so let's go back to the dissolved oxygen. What is the minimum and maximum levels we need to be looking at? If we've got one of these meters, what's the minimum we should be?
You should not. So, in my opinion, you shouldn't be below 50%.
Okay, what about the upper limit? Does it matter?
Yes, you know, 100. You want 100% saturation.
Okay.
100% saturation. Now, one thing to remember is that anytime you're running oxygen, you need to be running aerators too, because even if you're not running aerators, you can over-oxygenate a fish. You can get too much oxygen in that water, and it can actually burn their gills.
Okay.
But if you're running aerators in there, the aerators turning that water will alleviate any over-oxygenation that you could run across.
Okay.
So if you're running an oxygen system, you definitely need to be running aerators too.
Okay.
And so about 50 to 100% is what I'll be looking for on the DO meter.
Yeah. Now, for years, I've told people that, and I've checked it, a lot. I've been in tournaments for a lot of years, and I always looked at the eyes of the fish. A lot of times, the eyes would tell me whether a fish was in trouble or not. They start getting a little cloudy. If they're not bright looking, then that fish is in trouble.
Right. Yep. The eyes definitely tell a lot. The gills tell a lot. If the gills start losing that, that deep red color they got, then, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
You need to be doing something quick, and hopefully you didn't wait too long.
Yeah. So the fin weights, that's pretty interesting concept there. So what you're saying is if we can keep that fish in that upright position like he's normally used to being, then he'll be okay.
And if he's suffering from an overinflated swim bladder, yes.
Right.
If that's what's wrong with him, yes. It'll definitely help because, that swim bladder, inflates and deflates naturally on its own anyway,
Right.
according to the depth of the water that they're in. So,
Yeah.
If you're fishing, 30 foot of water and, you pull him up real quick, that swim bladder hadn't had enough time to deflate.
Yeah.
So he's in your live well with a full belly of air, so he's going to keep rolling over, and he'll keep fighting that, trying to make himself, get back up right.
Right. Yeah. And that's what, a lot of people, they just kind of horse them into the boat rather than letting them come up slow. Nothing better than seeing a lot of bubbles coming up right at the boat just before you net them. They're going to be in good shape then.
Yeah. But we get excited. And we lay into them. By God, we're cranking and whining. We're wanting to see what it is, and we forget about that. And but as long as you're aware of it, there's things you can do.
Right. Yeah. Especially when it's a big tail. When you see that big tail break the surface. So.
Yeah. So all your good sense goes out the window then.
Yeah. Now, your live well treatment, I noticed when you held the bottle up, it treats like 400 gallons. So you're only talking, what, a cap full of stuff that you're putting in a live well or what?
Yeah, well, this bottle, it's got this chamber over here.
Okay.
You squeeze the bottle, fill it up.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. It's like a stay-bill bottle.
Yeah.
But this is a half-ounce chamber is what it is. 1 ounce treats up to 50 gallons.
Okay. All right.
So, you can just squeeze it up in there, and it'll fill that chamber up. You just put 2 of them, for up to 50 gallons or, 100 gallons. Another question we get a lot of times is that can you over-treat the water with our products? And the answer is no. You really can't over-treat them. Another question we get is a lot of people running oxygenators, and they've always advertised that if you're running oxygenators, you can only use their live well treatment, and ours is safe. Ours is safe to use with oxygenators, and So that's something else you do not have to worry about. It's been tested extensively with them, and it has no problem at all with them.
That's those like 12-volt pucks that you hook up in the wells?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, I've seen some of the. I think some of the Sea Arcs are coming from the factory with them. I think you can special order them.
Yeah.
Get them on there. So, but yeah, I mean, 1 ounce treats up 250 gallons.
Okay.
You know,
And we can get that.
Our first aid treat. Sorry.
And we can get that at Bottom Dwellers.
Yeah, Bottom Dwellers Tackle. He's carrying all of our chemicals down.
Okay.
And
I haven't.
And I'm going to be sending him. I'm going to be sending him those fin clips too.
Okay.
And, so he should have them available within the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm interested in getting some of that stuff. I never, you know, I'm still using better bait for my bait, that kind of stuff. And I still use the old live well treatment. So I'm really interested in seeing what yours will do.
Well, I'll tell you what, Doc. Shoot me a message or email or something with your address and all on it, and I'll send you out some of it. I'll let you try it.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that.
And, you know, it's like I tell anybody, you know, if you just try our product one time, I guarantee you'll be back looking for more.
Yeah. Now, Trapper 234 just posted on there. I just checked eBay and they do have young meters.
Good. Yep. Yeah, they are on there. They got numerous. I think mine is a YSI brand. I'd have to get it out to see, but I think it's a YSI. And their factory, you know, sometimes you feel a little funny calling their people, hey man, I just bought a used meter and, you know, can you help me out with it? You worry, you know, that they're going to act a certain way, but they were helpful as they could be. I mean, the guy I talked to was, you know, he didn't act like he had an attitude because I didn't buy a brand new meter from him. So,
right.
They were, you know, my experience with them was good.
Okay. Cool.
Because a lot of the meters, they got the tips on. It's got to be changed every so many times you use it, and you got to calibrate it with. I think distilled water is what you got to calibrate them with, and you know you can get a whole book of instructions that tells you how to use it. Every time we use it, I got to get the book out. And my poor brain just can't keep up with all that stuff anymore.
Yeah. Great, man. It sounds like you got some really great product. Appreciate you doing that. That's nice.
Well, I mean, I tell you, I'm proud of them. I love that it's making a difference and everything. You know, it's always good when you can say without a doubt that I know my products work. You know, it's not some pro standing up there saying that you should be using this or some commercial on TV saying it. I mean, I guarantee it works. I offer 100% money back guarantee. I mean, if you're not happy with it, call me up, and I'll give you your money back.
Okay. Cool deal.
I make my phone number readily available to anybody, so you know, it's not like I'm trying to hide behind anything with it. I mean, I'm upfront and honest with all of it.
Okay. That's all I got. Your turn, Laura.
All right. Hey, Jody, can you turn the volume down just a little on your speaker?
On my speaker?
Yeah, we're getting a little feedback.
How's that? Is that any better?
Yeah.
Yes, quite a lot. Actually, it seemed like it was gaining. It started out we didn't have any feedback at all, and then the longer it went on, the more we was getting. You know, I've been using these. That's okay. That's fine. You and I talked earlier, and I've been using your product most of the summer. And this stuff, from keeping the scales on bait to stopping them from bleeding if you get one that's hooked wrong, to keeping the slime coat on and helping these fish in a live well, I'm really impressed. I mean, this stuff works, and it works like you say it does. And there's other products that do too. But this stuff is really, really good, and I don't know how you're supposed to use it. Maybe I should have read the instructions. But whenever I go out, I squeeze your deal like you were showing a while ago and use the amount that I'm going to use, and I put it in the bottom of the live well, and then as the water fills up, it just kind of mixes it up. And you know, you don't have to worry about it. And the way the live well works on that monster cat, every once in a while, you know, it turns on and it pushes old water out and puts new water in. And if I get a bunch of fish early in the morning, then I just put another squeeze full in about halfway through the tournament. I've never had any trouble whatsoever with these fish since I've been using this stuff. It's really impressive.
Well, thank you. I mean, I really appreciate you, you know, vouching for the product like that. It means the world to me, you know, having you speak that highly of it.
Well, it's, you know, if it's a good product, it's a good product, and this stuff is, I'm really impressed with it. Now, you know, you guys was talking about this dissolved oxygen meter. I couldn't believe it when them people come down through there in the weigh-in line and they was checking the oxygen level in these systems, in these boats. And some of these guys have got really, really elaborate oxygen setups in their boats, and some of them don't have anything. Other of them just use little aeration deals. And I've had never seen one of them before, and that is one of the most impressive things that I ever seen. And then when they'd shove that oxygen in there and give them guys a shot to help them, the survival rate of these fish, you're setting a precedent for future tournaments down the road that these other guys are going to have to step up to, because that's the way it should be done, to work as hard as you guys did down in Memphis to try to preserve these fish so they can be released in a healthy state.
Right. And that's, you know, that's what fish life is all about. I mean, we want to, you know, protect these fish and, you know, just do everything we can to preserve it for future generations. I mean, you know, this is a blessing from God, and, you know, it's our responsibility to take care of them. And, you know, and if we don't take care of them, they're not going to be here. But
well,
if you do right and you treat these fish right, you could essentially catch these same fish over and over and over. And
that's right.
Catch them, they breed, they make more, but you know, an angler has got to be responsible. It all goes back to the angler. You know, it don't matter what I'm doing in the tournament section of it. You know, I can do everything that I know to do at the tournament, but if I don't get the fish in good shape, then there's nothing I can do about it. You know, I can't bring a fish back from the dead. So it all starts with the angler.
That's very true.
Yep.
Very true. Claude Reynolds had sent me a message on our chat that says to let you know he hadn't forgot about you. That he didn't have a chance to get the tank and get it ready before Monsters on the Ohio.
Yep.
So don't count him out. And then he wanted to know, on a 100-gallon tank, where's a good starting place to set the regulator at?
Normally, if he's running a flow meter is what he should be running. So probably around 0.4, 0.5 is what you're looking at. You know, the main thing is that you want them bubbles all coming off that stone to rise as slowly as possible. You know, you want it to look like smoke coming up off that stone. You know, if you got the pressure too high, it's going to be pushing them up a lot faster than they need to go. But you want them to rise real slow, because what that does, it gives the oxygen inside them bubbles more time to saturate in the water. If the bubble goes out real fast, well, all the oxygen just goes right up inside the bubble and pops out the top. So you want small, slow bubbles, and that is the best thing for saturating that water.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I honestly think the best place to start, anybody that's not used to using oxygen, I personally would recommend that they start at the lowest setting on their regulator.
Right. And give it time to come up.
Right, exactly. Because, you know, people a lot of times think, well, a little bit's good, more's better, and that's not always the case. You can burn them with that.
Yeah, and it's not. You know, you want small, slow bubbles is what you want.
Now,
that's what you know, just remember that big bubbles are bad, small bubbles are good.
That's very true. You and I talked earlier about the oxygen system that you had been promoting through Fish Life, and you had told me that you discontinued this, and because you didn't feel like you could give people a great product at a fair price. You thought that it was costing too much to produce these. Is there any chance down the line that you're going to be looking into doing this again?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do is that, you know, in an oxygen system, the tank is just a tank. There's nothing special about a tank. The regulator is just a regulator. There's nothing special about it. There's nothing special about the tank. There's nothing special about the hose. What makes the difference is the stone. The stone is what makes the difference. So, you know, I'm working with a manufacturer right now, and I'm trying my best to get these stones down to a reasonable price. But you know, the stones is what makes the difference. You know, ideally, in the bottles, you know, kind of what you touched on is that, you know, I came out with these systems, we put it out there, and I did not feel like they were too expensive is what it was. They were too expensive, and it isn't something that everybody could afford. And I did not feel right selling them, you know, because I can tell you how to build a system for half the price of what we were charging for. And, you know, and then that's what I'm saying is that the parts are just parts. That's all they are. They're nothing special. But the stones is what makes the difference. So I'm still working on that. Hopefully 30 days, 60 days, something like that, I'll have the deal worked out to where, you know, we'll be able to sell them at a fair price. You know, I mean, I could sell them before, but they were crazy expensive. I didn't feel right about it. You know, I'm a Christian man. I really believe in, you know, that God tells us certain things, and I really felt like God was telling me I didn't need to be fooled with them, and that, you know, we were just, you know, it was something we didn't need to do at the price point that we were at. So, so anyway, we're working on the stones, and that's what we're going to concentrate on.
Well, that's really cool. Yeah. Now, when we was down at the Catfish conference, Chuck come up with something that you had hooked him up with down there, was a mounting bracket to mount these tanks with. That, again, is an outstanding piece. I'd never seen one built any better, that looked any nicer, that I thought would do the job. It's sort of like the brackets that we used to use on race cars to hold the nitrous bottles in place, so if something happened, they wasn't slinging around all through the car, you know. And that was an impressive mounting bracket. I don't know if you are still dealing with those or not, but they are really cool.
Yeah, they are. You know, I mean, that was safety it needs to be the biggest thing first and foremost. You know, when you're fooling with these oxygen systems, you've got to have a safe way to mount these bottles. You know, and some of the guys' boats that I was looking at, I mean, you know, they got them wired in. I think I saw a couple zip tied in, and one was just laying in the bottom of the boat. And, you know, that's not safe. That's not the safe way to do it. But these brackets, what these brackets are, you can get on eBay, and they're fire extinguisher brackets, and search for Amerex brand, AMEREX, Amerex brand, and I think it's model number 809 is what it is, and Zorro Tools is, I think, the cheapest that I was able to find on eBay, and you can buy them individually through them at a fair price. I think you can get them for about $50 through them, and it is an adjustable bracket, and you know, measure your, you know, the oxygen ball you got, measure it, and make sure that it'll fit. But I believe it's Amerex 809 was the model number for those brackets. And then that way you'll be able to mount your oxygen bottle safely in your boat, and we won't have no accidents out there on the water.
Good. I know you brought that numbers and stuff up. Rob Rossi's already got a link on our chat, so anybody can just click on that and go right to them and find them. So, you know, I was really impressed with that. But, you know, everything that you deal with so far that I've seen, and I'm sure everything's like that, is very high quality and very professional. And The next thing I want to talk to you about is these tournaments and weigh-ins and things like that. As I know you've been doing the bass stuff for quite some time. The catfish industry has really taken off into competitive catfishing. Is this something that you're really going to be looking forward to in the next few years?
If I have my way, I'm probably going to back. I'm going to back out of bass fishing a long way and really focus on the catfishing. That's what I want to do. Because I just, that's what I say. I've just been so impressed. I've been so impressed with the people. I've been so impressed with the fish, and it's, I love it. I got hooked. I got hooked right there with it. When them big old circle hooks got me, I love it. I mean, it is just so much fun. We're going to be doing, the Winter Blues on Wheeler, December 31st. And, me and Daniel kind of hooked up together. And, while I was telling you about this earlier, and what my plan is that I got one of those big 20 by 20 tents. I'm going to set that tent up down there at Winter Blues, and I'm going to make it a VIP area, and I'm going to invite local officials, from these other lakes, from Lake Guntersville, from Wilson Lake, all these other lakes. I'm going to invite them out there because I want them to see what's really going on here. That this movement is something that's for real, and that you just that this ain't like holding up a 6-pound bass. I mean,
no,
you guys catch something that you say, oh, that's old junk fish. Man, that junk fish is still impressive. So, but I think these local officials need to be seeing this, that it is a legitimate, credible segment of the sport.
And you and the officials you're talking about and everything else, we're still on the bottom end of where catfishing is going. So if they want to get involved and get to see things how it's going to be down the road, now's the time to be involved with catfishing before it gets out of hand to where everything you do costs so much money that the average person or town or whatever can't afford to be involved with it. And let's face it, that's sort of where bass fishing's at now. You got to have the right town, the right people, the right everything to put on a big tournament. I posted a deal the other day, and the point was about trailering. But these guys had 500 boats going out of a boat ramp. Now, it takes a lot of money to get something like that going, and you got to have the right sponsors and the right people running it and all that, because that is a huge amount of boats.
Yeah, it is. And it takes a lot of people to pull something like that off. And I'm sorry. The days of people coming out and just volunteering to do it for free is a thing of the past. It's hard to get people to commit themselves for 2 or 3 days and, work 16 hours a day and expect them to do it for free.
That's right. And I know that a lot of these guys say, well, tournaments ought to be 100% payout. You can't expect people to go out there once a month, twice a month, 3 times a month, once a year and spend the hours and the time and burn their gas and use the time up on their phones and do all the stuff to put on a 150 or a 200 boat tournament and not get something out of their investment. Even their time, their investment in gas and whatever it is a lot of work to put on a big tournament. And people have to understand that when these guys are doing this stuff for free, they could be out and making a living.
Right.
And that's where it's at. And kudos to them guys that want to do it. We done it for a long time, and we didn't really make any money off of it. And that was because that's how we chose to do it. But there comes a time when you can't buy all the meals out and the gas to and from and motel rooms and this and that and not get something back. There just comes a time when it costs too much.
That's right. And with us getting involved, like we have, I mean, we come out there and we can make a show out of it. We can really, we can set our stuff up. I've got the experienced personnel to come out there to put on a show, to make the guys that's fishing this thing feel like that they're fishing a truly professional event. And that's what we go for on our tournament services side of Fish Life, is that, when you come up there, to an event we're working, we want you to feel like that, that you're on top of the world. We want you to feel like that, by God, I'm here. I'm gonna get up on that stage.
That's right.
And that's what we want. And that's what, me and my whole crew, every event we do, we strive to make everybody feel as good as they possibly can, and also taking care of the fish.
Well, I'm going to tell you, there's no better feeling to go to a weigh-in. If you're in a tournament and you've got a quality fish or a really good bag of fish that you're going to weigh and pull through that weigh-in line and visit with you guys for a couple of minutes and then move on out so the fish can be taken care of, that's a great feeling for the fishermen. I've never been to a tournament set up like that to where if there was a crowd, and there usually is, that they wasn't impressed with what you had, whether it was great big or not. You still spent the time and effort and energy to go out and catch those fish, and everybody wants to see them.
Right. That's right. And that's what I keep harping on, is that, in the catfishing community, where the anglers are considering a fish they got a bad fish, to the audience and the fans out there, even a bad fish is a good fish.
That's right.
I mean, you hold up a 20-pound catfish, you're upset. Oh my God, all I caught was this little old 20-pound fish. But when you hold it up out there, all the people out there, the spectators and all that's there, they're like, wow, that's a 20-pound fish.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's the wow factor that this sport has got going for it. That is just so cool.
Well, I've been to bass weigh-ins and stuff, and the big fish, and a lot of times them tournaments, a big fish will weigh 3 or 4 pounds. and you go to a crappie tournament, a guy will catch a 14 or 16-inch crappie, and that's huge crappie.
Yeah.
But if you're holding that 16-inch crappie up or that 5-6 pound bass up, and somebody jerks out a 60 or 80-pound blue or flathead, there's, we can eat them both at the same time.
There's no comparison is what it is.
No.
The wow factor is just, there's nothing else compares to it.
Not in freshwater.
No, not freshwater. But the thing about it is, and that's what I'm telling people too, that I'm talking to about this, is that, you can come and catfish and you're getting a saltwater experience.
Mm-hmm.
You're catching fish that's equivalent to what you see in saltwater. The technique that you guys are using fishing for these catfish is the same thing. What they're it crosses over into the saltwater world. It's just and as I'm telling people this, they're sitting there looking at me like I'm crazy because they've never heard of such a thing. But my God, we're going to show people. We're going to show them what this is all about.
Well, is there what we need is for you to tell the people how to get in touch with you if they want you to come down and help them with weigh-in or tournament someplace, how to get in touch with you, and how to get in touch with you about the Fish Life products that you guys have. And when we're done with the show, if you wouldn't mind, I know I have your little thing banner up on Catfish Weekly, but sometime when you have a chance, go ahead and post all that information again for anybody that wants to get in touch with you. Because people, I'm telling you, if you ever use these products, you will be in love with them. They're great. They're reasonably priced, and a money-back guarantee. I mean, you can't beat that. I don't care where you go.
Yeah, we're definitely, we want to be more involved in the catfish community. I would love to go do some of the weigh-ins for some of the bigger tournaments and be involved on that side of it too. I believe I had a couple of anglers talking to me about the Rising Sun tournament that went on the same weekend as MRF, and said that there was talk through the crowd up there wanting us to come up there and do that. And I'd love to. Any of the the large scale tournaments like that, or whoever it is, we would love to do it because it's what we do.
Yeah.
We're a third party, and I'm here to make the clients look good, and I'm here to take care of the fish, and I'm here to make the anglers feel good about themselves. But all of our stuff is on www.fishlife.net, all one word, fishlife.net. And y'all gotta forgive me because my website definitely is not the best looking thing in the world, but we make do with what we got. Our Facebook page is Fish Life, all one word. That's really where we do most of our communication stuff is on Fish Life. All of our products are available. They're available on our website, But the thing is that what everybody needs to remember is I can't ship as cheap as other people can because I don't have them shipping agreements with UPS and FedEx and them that I can't ship as cheap as other people can. So Bottom Dwellers Tackle, David Ashby over there, he's got all of our products, and David can ship a lot cheaper than I can. So if you're interested in any of our products, check out bottomdwellers.com. David is about to rip every hair in his head out trying to get that new website up. So he needs all the traffic he can get right now. So I'll go help old David out. Because I tell you what, I sure felt sorry for him, battling out on that thing. But anyway, Facebook. You can even go to my personal Facebook page, Jody Harrison, Jody Harrison, Harrison. You can recognize it because I got the Fish Life logo as my little icon thing on Facebook. And, so
you got mail.
Yeah, I got mail.
I just sent you.
My cell phone number is 205 243 4572. 205-243-4572. If I don't answer the phone right off, leave me a message because, unfortunately, even though I'm all involved in all this other stuff, I do have a real job too that I got to take care of. So if I don't answer it right off, probably because my boss is in the office and he don't like to hear me talking about fish life on company time. So, but anyway, or if you just have any questions. If you have any questions, call me. Even if you got somebody else's auction system or you're using somebody else's products, that's fine. If you got a question, call me up. I'll be more than happy to help you out any way I can. That's what it's all about, is taking care of the fish.
That's right. I agree 100%. Now, Jody, there's only one more thing that I want to visit with you about tonight, and that would be the Winter Blues on Wheeler tournament. I know that you and Daniel are kind of working together on this thing, and Daniel has put on a great tournament the last few years down there in Alabama. And is there anything that you can tell us about to get everybody prepared and get them up for this tournament, because it is an outstanding event? It's the time of year that everybody's dreaming about fishing, and you go to Wheeler Lake and catch some.
That's right. You're going to catch one of them big old blues out of there. I tell you, man, I have been so blessed, hooking up with Daniel. We just had a really good time through all of this, and I'm really glad that he didn't let this tournament go this year like he originally talked about doing. But we're excited about it. David Ashby coming on board from Bottom Dwellers. He's doing the big fish pot on that. I believe that it's up to $1,000 big fish pot on that, and I can't let the cat out of the bag yet. All I can say is y'all pay attention to the Winter Blues Facebook page, because Daniel's going to be making an announcement that's going to get everybody's attention. Let me just put it like that. We're waiting to finalize everything, get everything signed, sealed, and delivered. But y'all pay attention, because Winter Blues is fixing to get really good.
Well, now, if this is that big of a deal, maybe you and Daniel need to jump on here one night and enlighten us a little bit.
Maybe, yeah, that's what we should do. And when you talk to Daniel and tell him to hold off on the announcement till we can get back on here, and we'll formally announce the everything on your show.
Yeah, that'd
work. Be great.
There we go.
We'd love to have that happen. It'd be good for us. It'd be good for you, and everybody wants to know about that. Like I say, it's the middle of the winter time. A lot of guys hadn't been out. The northern guys, most of them been up for a month or two, and us mid states guys, we've been down for a little while. Chuck, he's lucky enough that he can sneak out 2 or 3 days a month without freezing to death. But some of the rest of us are not quite that fortunate.
Yeah. What's so awesome about it is the date. Because generally, a lot of people get that, between Christmas and New Year's off. So you really couldn't ask for a better time the way it's going to fall in there. You can spend Christmas with your family and get all that done, and you can head on south, come on down here and see us. We'll have us a good time that week before the tournament.
Well, we've never been down there and didn't had a good time. that's an ideal place down there. That not only is the fishing good, but those cabins are very reasonably priced, and you can split the cost of them up. The biggest expense you got going to Wheeler, from my perspective, is the gas down there and back. We usually split them cabins up with a couple, three other fishermen, and you can go out to eat. They've got everything in them. You can sit there and fix your own meals, and we do a little of both. And it's not butt raping cold down there like it is up here.
It is to us.
It is to you, but it's a lot of difference to us, ain't it, Doc?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a whole lot more.
I'll tell you something else. I mean, kind of a feather in you guys' caps too, is that the guy that's over the Alabama State Parks, I think he's from Central Alabama to North Alabama. I think he's over all the parks up there. His son actually fished our college bass series that we used to run, and I ran into him at the Winter Blues tournament we was at last year, and this guy was just blown away at all y'all. He said, the lodge has been sold out for a whole week. He said, I can't believe this. He said, this lodge, he said, that we never fill up like this. And he said, these people spend money. And so from the economic perspective of the cities and all looking at it, I mean, they're just blown away at all of the people that's coming in from out of state. They're not used to seeing that.
Right, not in the dead part of winter.
Come to town, a lot of them are all locals fishing.
Yep.
So,
Rob Rossi said he's on his way down there. He can't wait to get there. I'm not sure who he's fishing with. Do you know how many boats is entered already in the tournament?
Last I checked, I think it was 23. What we got.
That's pretty good for a dead part of winter right after Christmas tournament. There's no better way that I can see us celebrating New Year's other than being on Wheeler Lake with a bunch of good fishing friends. I mean, that's just pretty much cut and dry. It's a great thing to do, and get to go down there and give Chuck some stuff because he'll be there. I know Chuck's always going to be there.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to ask. I need a favor from you guys too. Is that
sure?
This tournament. Last year we had 78 boats in this tournament, and we really need to put out a plea to everybody to please come to this tournament. We need good numbers for this, so we can take these numbers to these economic development commissions up here, and the Convention and Visitors Bureau. And really show these people the kind of turnouts that we can have. The more boats that we can get to show up for this one, it's more documentation that Daniel and I is going to be able to have to take to these people. And what that all ends up with is that more money that we can ask for to bring these tournaments to these cities. And the more money we can ask for, the more money we can give away.
Right.
Is what we're looking at. So, we need everybody to show up. I mean, I put a please show up for this tournament. We need y'all, to be able to do the things that we want to do with this. And, I promise you guys, if y'all show up, you support us, I will do everything I can to support y'all. And, I think I can speak for Daniel too. I don't think he would disagree at all. But, we really need to exceed that 78 boats. So we can show it as a trend of this thing growing every year.
I see no reason why there shouldn't be at least 100 boats of that tournament minimum every year. I really don't. It's so much fun down there. I mean, you just kind of leave the door open and people run in and out down there, and it's over New Year's weekend. It just don't get a lot better than that.
Right. You're right. I mean, you can't ask for anything better. And
nope.
It's just this tournament's got everything going for it, and like I said,
and the fish are always biting down there that time of the year.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm going to put this out there because a lot of people know it. I've told this story a couple times, but I got a good friend of mine, John Nordyke, that went down there a week before the tournament 2 years ago, put 105 in the boat with Jason Bridges. There is some great fish in that lake, and yes. If you've been sitting around and you're wanting to figure out how you can go fishing, or if you need to go to Florida or whatever, all you got to go is to Wheeler Lake in Alabama over the first weekend of the month, and jump in there and get you some of it, because it is a great time. And there's a little restaurant down there that's outstanding place to eat. There's a lot of good places to eat down there, but everything is reasonable. It's just like buying the stuff around. Hey, it's not the trip down there and back is the most expensive part of it for us, and it's a great time.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's not a tourist town. It's not a town that's going to be trying to rape you, every time you come in there. But this catfishing thing is the best. It's the best kept secret in Alabama.
I'm so amazed, and Chuck has told us stories about down there, how hard it is to keep tournaments going down there. And with the fisheries you guys got, I'm blown away that there's not a tournament somewhere down there every weekend.
Yeah, well, it's not. I mean, our unfortunately our lakes are, we're just so saturated in bass fishing. That's all that this state has ever known is bass fishing, and I'm not putting it down. I mean, don't think I'm doing that, but it's just there's more to it than what a lot of people see, and I mean, I think that this is something that it's just itching to explode. Is what I say. I mean, it is. The stars need to align right with the moon, and I think when it does, that the top's going to blow off of it. But I mean, you look
right there.
You had the MRM tournament going on, had 184 votes in it. Yeah, the Rising Sun tournament going on that same weekend. There was 164 in that one.
Several, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in one weekend in two places, you had well over 300 votes, out doing this, and that's not counting all the other people that just couldn't make it. So I mean,
that's right. That's right. Then turn around a month later, and Aaron Wheatley puts 192, I believe it was, or 94 on Owensboro, Kentucky, and I mean, we're right there.
We're there. I mean,
catfishing is, and you guys have got an excellent venue down there. You kind of got the market cornered on New Year's weekend, and you got the market cornered at that time of the year for Wheeler Lake, and I anticipate seeing 100 boats down there without any problem at all. And if you can do that for New Year's, when everybody's supposedly out partying and drinking and doing whatever it is they do, if you can put 100 boats from all over the United States down there, that's a heck of a good job.
That's right. There's no doubt. So I think we can do it, but we just, we got to have the angler support. We really need the guys to come out, and I promise you, you do us this favor, and we will make it well worth it for you.
And it's going to be a great time. It really is. Jody, I want to thank you for coming on Catfish Weekly with Chuck and Doc and I. It's been a great time visiting with you. We've covered a lot of territory from running catfishing tournaments and weigh-ins to oxygen systems and fish life products. And I knew it would be a great show. I just had the feeling, and after talking to you today, I knew that we'd never get it covered in an hour either. But and that's okay, because the stuff that we went over tonight was really good. And I want to thank you for coming on here and helping us out. Bring out the information that you have put out here, because I realize that you do some of this to offset some of the costs of stuff, and you don't have to tell people this stuff, and we appreciate it. And there's going to be a time when everybody has oxygen systems, and they're going to have these chemicals and stuff in their boats, and it's going to be a great deal for all of us. And you being a part of it is awesome to me.
Well, it's an honor for me to be here. I mean, it really is. I mean, you're telling me thank you. I mean, I'm the one that tells y'all thank you for welcoming me into the sport. I mean, it's a great bunch of people. It's a great sport, and it's just an honor for me to be involved. I mean, anything I can do to help, I'm here to do it. And at the end of the day, we got to take care of our fish.
That's exactly right. You're 100% correct. You're spot on, and you're everything we're looking for to make it work.
That's right. And I mean, I think Dave Hart, he said it best at the first Catfish conference. He said that the very first thing he said in his seminar is that it's the angler's responsibility to take care of their fish. And
that's right.
If you're gonna catfish, then you need to do what you got to do to have a system to be able to take care of.
That's right. That's 100% correct.
That's right. So,
well, Jody,
yeah, definitely.
Thank you again for joining us. Go ahead, Chuck.
Yeah, Jody threw a tournament for me about 5 years ago. We had 6 boats show up.
I had 6 boats. That's right.
6 boats.
6 boats. I think it was longer than that, Chuck. I got a 5-year-old son.
Yeah, it's about 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah,
I think it's more about like 7 or 8 years ago.
yeah. Mike Mitchell caught a 65 or something. Him and his son.
Yeah, and we rolled out our little old weigh-in stand, and Mike Mitchell threw that big old fish up there, and I just kind of looked at my ex-partner and said, "What the heck are we gonna do with that?" the little old scales we had to weigh the fish one at a time.
Yeah,
Wow.
the guard from the dam thought Jody had a bomb in his trailer. They were down there won't know what we was doing down there with a trailer.
Yeah. No.
Them things you'll never forget, though. 100 years from now, if we're all around, you'll still be laughing about that stuff.
That's right. That's exactly right. I think the little old tub that we always used to weigh our fish on, I think we busted our tub hauling the fish.
Yeah, we had fun.
Yeah.
That started the cold front. I mean, that was the first cold front. We ain't quit since. Everyone we go to is a cold front ever since.
That's right. But, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you looking back on that right now, I mean, it's Chuck that got us involved in this all them years ago. I mean, I met Chuck years ago on a fishing forum, and, that's where it all started. And, and I mean, Chuck has been a really good ambassador to the sport, just constantly pushing it like he does. I mean, Chuck deserves a lot of recognition for everything he's done in the sport, and, from what he's done. So if it wasn't for him, I'd have never met Daniel, and me and Daniel would never ended up where we're at. So, Chuck Davison, bud.
All right. Heck yeah, man.
I'll be running for president in 4 years.
If you hurry up and get involved, you can have my vote this year.
Yeah.
All right, Jody.
All right, guys.
Want to get out of here. Thanks so much for helping us out tonight. And when you get ready to do the big announcement for that tournament, you let me know.
All right, I'll definitely do it. Matter of fact, I'll text Daniel right now and tell him to keep his cards close to his chest for now.
Heck yeah, that'll be awesome. Thanks again, Jody. We appreciate everything you do for the sport.
All right, thank y'all so much. Y'all do a great job.
Thank you, Jody.
Thanks. Man, that is some good news they got going on down there with that tournament. Jody Harrison does a wonderful job doing them weigh-ins and stuff, and I've been to 2 or 3 of his tournaments, and every time I go, he's picked up and it's better than the last one. They done a really good job down in Memphis, don't you guys think? It was just really cool.
Great. Yeah.
It was great. Everything was pretty smooth and went along, and they've been doing bass tournaments and stuff for a long time. But he picked up on his catfish stuff really fast. If he was a tournament angler and he picked up on catching them fish as fast as he did about how to weigh in them tournaments, we'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, Chuck, what have you got tonight for closing statements?
The Alabama, I think they're calling it the Alabama Classic. It's the Hold'em Hook Trail, and Daniel's last Alabama Catfish Trail event is going to be at Gunnersville this coming Saturday, going out of the state park. You can go to the Hold'em Hook Facebook page or the Alabama Catfish Trail Facebook page, either one. And Steve Dobbs and Daniel's got all the information on there if you want to go fish the Big G Saturday and have a really good time.
Awesome. That all you got for this evening?
That's all I got.
All right, man. Doc, I know you got some stuff you want to go over. You fished this weekend, so you definitely got something to talk about.
Yeah, we didn't do bad. Had a good time. The fish definitely had lockjaw. I thought it was me at first, but my buddy Bink Fox, he was over on the Ravenswood pool, and they were having their Ohio Hills championship this past weekend. And after I talked to him, I didn't feel so bad. It ended up Janet and Bink won that tournament. They had 55.6 pounds. They also had the big fish, which was a blue, and it was 29.8 pounds. I think Bink said they only had like 4 or 5 bites, and I guess most of the boats were like that. Matthew and Zach Reed were in second place with 40 pounds, and third place was Jerry and Kelly at 39 pounds. So it was a tough bite. It started at 8 o'clock in the morning. He's got a different kind of format. He fished it last year, and it worked out really great. They start at like 8 a.m. in the morning. They fish till 3. They have a weigh-in, and then they take about a 2-hour break, start back up about 6, and then fish till midnight. So, it gives them time to get off the water and go grab something to eat, and it seems to work out pretty good. But, Janet and Bink ended up winning that, and that was in Ravenswood, West Virginia. So
outstanding. Janet and Bink got it going on, man. They've been on fire this whole year, been doing really well. We're all proud of them. Yeah.
So, being a Black Horse Pro staffer makes it that much even better. So
does for me. I'm so happy with them guys. Even if Janet is a Reds fan.
Yeah, no Cardinals fan, that's for sure.
Yeah, not this year. They're running out of fans.
Yeah. And Doc's tip for the night, we're going to talk about this little jewel right here, and that is your boat plug. I like to use the T-handles just for the fact that I can get a little bit more on them. But, guys, if you forget this thing, you can get pretty nervous real quick. So, and we've all done it. I swear, I think everybody has forgot to put this thing in. One thing is don't panic. Keep the boat moving forward, and the water won't come in. It's always rushing out. You just got to come along and real quick to the dock and have your partner jump off to go get the vehicle so you can put that boat up on the trailer. But the biggest thing that I tell people is change these things. Only use them for a year, because this rubber has a tendency of breaking down. And if you keep using them over and over, and I keep 4 and 5 of these on a boat, mainly because, I've been to so many tournaments and somebody has broken this plug. It lets go, the rubber lets go, and it just, I think I've handed more of these things out than I've used on my boat. So, these things only run about $5. Good $5 worth of insurance right there. So that's Doc's tip for the night, your boat plug.
That's a great tip, and anybody that doesn't have one of those and a spare with them, they should have.
Yeah.
Because you can drop it in the lake. If you forget to put it in, you load the boat up and you go to put it on there, you drop it in the lake, you still don't have one.
Yeah.
So everybody should have one in there. And Rob Rossi says he's got a 2,000 gallon per hour pump for his bilge because he's been through all that. And I've done it. I've done it a couple of times. One time, the first boat I ever had 2 drain plugs in it. On the Mississippi River, my brother went with me and he said, "You got the plug in the boat?" I said, "Yeah, I put the plug in the boat." And I launched him off, and he was standing there. I come walking back down the ramp, and he's out of the boat, standing there holding on. He said, "Hurry up!" I said, "What?" He said, "I thought you said you put the plug in the boat." I said, "I did put the plug in the boat." He said, "What's this?" I said, that was an extra one." He said, "This thing's got 2 holes in it someplace because they were filling up." And we run up and down the river until we run all the water out. And once the water got out, you could see there was 2 plugs in that boat.
Oh, wow.
It was an old Glastron that I'd bought from a guy, and I had, you put the plug in a boat, you're not thinking it's going to leak, but that one sure did. It had 2 plugs, and it's the only boat that I've ever seen like that. And I didn't forget it. And we was over Springfield, Illinois, at Lake Springfield with Joe Lucky and Jerry Klein and all them guys fishing a night tournament, and I launched our boat off, and I told Cindy, I said, "Damn, here's the plug. I forgot to put it in." And I got out in that water that night, and it wasn't terribly cold, but about midnight it was pretty brisk because I never did dry out. And I put it in the boat, just run the boat up on the ramp and put the plug in, and it didn't get a lot of water in it or anything, but I sure enough got wet. And that's one of the very few times that we ever left the tournament early. The fishing wasn't any good for us that night, and I was about to freeze my patootie off, so we loaded the boat and we went on home that night. But, good times. Good times. I don't really have anything going on. I just want everybody to remember to go down to Wheeler Lake if over New Year's weekend, if you get a chance. And them guys have a great tournament down there, and I promise you won't have any more fun than what's going to be down there that time of the year. Guys can talk about going out and partying all they want to, but if you're a fisherman and you fish for catfish and you want to catch a good one, Wheeler Lake's a good place to do it, and there's no better weekend to do it. And that's all I got for this evening. For Chuck Davis and Doc Lang, I'm Lyle Stokes. Join us next week. We're going to have Joey Pounders and Jay Gallup on here. We're going to be talking about catching flatheads, so don't want to miss that. Night, everybody.